Shut up and sit down.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fight for Liberty show. We are live from Frankel's shoe store on 3rd Avenue in Brooklyn because my life is crazy, and so that's why you see a change of scenery here. But today's episode, I'm very excited for. It's somebody that you all should already know and love, and if you don't, you're wrong. But before I introduce her, I just want to tell you guys a little something about what we're doing. I say this almost every episode, but I'm going to say it again. We have these awesome CBD and CBG sampler packs it's $22. If you use the promo code UNITE, it's actually 10% off, so that drops it down to just under $20. It's a great way to try out all 3 of the different flavors that we have of the CBD and CBG flowers. There's an indica, a sativa, and a hybrid. So whichever thing you like, you can find what you're looking for. So go over to nugofknowledge.com, use promo code UNITE, get 10% off of whatever it is. You also have some awesome Delta 8 THC cartridges, some gummies, a whole bunch of other stuff. So go on, check that out. But tonight we are talking to one of my favorite people in the Liberty Movement. She is a dancer. She is a Nomad. She is the founder of Second Look News and one of my co-hosts on Monday night. Stacia, welcome back to the show.
Hey, David. Thanks for having me.
It is an absolute pleasure. So last time you were on, which was a little while ago, you were kind of brand new into the Liberty and fairly new still to politics. And now you are doing Second Look. You are getting more involved. How are you liking getting more involved in politics in general?
Mixed feelings. I don't really like politics.
Me either.
Really skeptical of that. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm just getting involved in it because I want to understand what's happening and try and find solutions and help, make things better. So yeah, I'm trying to stay focused on that goal, and it's been interesting. I had a friend tell me he thinks I've grown a lot in the last year. He's like a longtime friend from college, and so he knows me really well for many years, and he thinks maybe I've grown the most this year. So
wow,
yeah, I was surprised.
Well, that's definitely a cool encouragement.
Sorry, you cut out.
Oh. Yeah, there's a little bit of a lag here. All right.
Oh.
I just said that that's a cool encouragement to get, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about Second Look News. Why did you start it, and what is it?
Okay. So how far back to go? I got involved in Unity 2020 last year. I hadn't paid attention to politics or the news barely at all before that. But I think a lot of people started paying attention in 2020 when we were all, locked at home and on our phones all the time. And so it was the first time I realized things were messed up. Actually, I think it was this year that I found out like the Iraq war was like a sham, there weren't weapons. Like I just found this out. So that's how much I wasn't paying attention. I actually didn't even realize we were still at war. So
that's I'm surprised I haven't figured that one out.
What?
I said I'm been surprised to see how many people haven't found that one out yet. That one kind of got swept under the rug, and the people that were paying attention are really loud about it, but we just yell into our echo chambers about it a lot, and normies still don't necessarily know.
Yeah. I was one of them. So yeah, I mean, a big part of that was that I was traveling around and I was just so focused on, dance and personal development and adventures and, just like enjoying life and starting businesses. And I just didn't feel like it mattered to me. A big part of why I got worried was I was starting to worry that like if things get really messed up in the U.S., then it might affect our visas, like our passport, because we have a really strong passport, and so it's very easy to travel as a American. But I have friends, from Russia. I actually just had a friend from India tell me yesterday, like, "You're so lucky. Your passport is really strong." So, yeah, I just started to get worried if like it just seemed like things were getting that messed up, that yeah. So it felt like okay, I guess I got to do something, can't really ignore it anymore, kind of thing. And so I got involved in Unity 2020. Just it I liked that it was a creative way to try and shake things up, all of a sudden. I know we talked about this last time, but it's actually like it relates a lot to that, why I started Second Look. It was a friend from Unity 2020 who suggested the idea to me. And almost all of my volunteers are Unity 2020 people. So, yeah. And so, yeah, it was from that that I wanted to create a media platform that wasn't trying to scare and divide people. Fancy that. Revolutionary.
Right.
Yeah, so we tried, one of our 7 tenets is to bridge fractured narratives. And so, yeah, so we want to try and show like that the other side isn't crazy. There's usually a reason why they believe what they believe. They just have really different information, like a whole different worldview that has been painted for them in the media. And so, yeah, I wanted to be a bridge for people in that way, and really respectful to, like, I think most people are not crazy, I think most people are trying to, make sense of the world and take care of their loved ones and, just like they're normal. They're not evil or, and so, yeah, so it's really founded in that belief. Human-centered solutions is another one of our tenets. Like, I want to, I always talk about how I feel like there's like a left side and there's a right side. And a lot of media networks and a lot of even like all sides, a lot of things are trying to kind of compare both sides and be like, here's what the left is saying, here's what the right is saying. And let people, kind of see both sides. But I actually feel like there's a third position that is the actual solution. And usually neither side is actually talking about that. Often it seems like both sides are almost distracting from the solution that most of us could agree on. Yeah, and so I wanted to talk about those solutions, Yeah, so we're also very much about heavily researched, heavily cited. We're not doing opinion pieces. I know a lot of, a lot of sites do opinion pieces, but I just feel like there's enough of it out there. So I think what we need right now is like someone to make sense of what's going on and to be like, here's the facts and here's the links to original sources so that you can check it yourself. Don't just trust us. We're really big on believing in people and encouraging them to engage in their news themselves. Yeah. So those are
That's
all
awesome.
some of the things that Second Look is about. Kind of a long explanation, but we're trying to really create something new, like some elements of stuff that's been done before, but really trying to kind of branch out and think creatively. And I think part of what allows me to do that is that I haven't followed the news a lot. And so I don't have strong ideas of what it should be like. I'm more thinking, what would I like? What do I wish existed?
Yeah.
And so that's a big part of just how I'm coming up with, how Second Look will work.
I think that's a really important piece to starting a business. It's something that I've heard in a lot of like seminars and speeches and self-help books and stuff about starting a business is business want to be the number one customer of.
Cut out for a second.
Am I cutting out again?
Yeah,
Man.
sorry, I missed the important part.
No, I just no, I said you should always build a business that you would want to be the number one customer of. It should be something that you want and are engaged in and would purchase, so you know what your customers would want because they're you. So I want to get back. We'll get back to Second Look, but I want to ask something about like way at the beginning of your explanation. You were in politics because you were out traveling and adventuring and doing all these things, and I feel like I haven't done much of those things since I got into politics, because especially like the personal development side, because you just don't have time. You're always researching something. There's always a million things going on that you don't know about, and you're all like, all your friends knew about this thing and you didn't, and now you're the idiot. And it's just like there's just in the atmosphere of being in politics, there's just so much to keep up on and there's so much to do. I know that you probably haven't found this yet, but how do you think you're going to try to balance the two?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, just because I feel like I haven't been balancing it well. And I think part of that is I'm in shock. I feel like I'm kind of in survival mode, like
Right.
just probably high on adrenaline like all day, every day, just from stress, because I'm learning about so much of what's going on, and it's totally different than I had thought,
Right.
it was. And so it's just very stressful and concerning, and yeah. So and then I'm trying to push myself, with Second Look. I feel like I'm doing like 4 or 5 jobs, but like myself, 4 or 5 jobs I wish could be different people doing each of them. So it's a lot to, stay on top of. And so, yeah, so I haven't been, there were some points last year, during quarantine, where I felt like I was really healthy and I was doing yoga every morning and meditating every day. And, I just felt like I had a really good rhythm. And then since January, it's been just pretty not there, like barely exercising and stuff. So I'm starting to get into it more now. I think I'm in the process of like remembering some of the things that I had figured out before, like how there's always a place of peace inside of yourself that you can find. It's almost like there's a place where you can meet yourself, and if you do that regularly, I feel like it's super. It's like that's a place where you're not stressed. That's a place where you're safe, and just it's peace. And so I kind of have been remembering about that, and so that's been really good. Yeah, so I think it I think it'll be a process of integrating, things from. I mean, it almost feels like I'm living a different life now, because like before, there was a time in my life where I was like depressed and just stayed at home a lot and wasn't traveling and stuff. And so it so there was that point, and then there was like years where I was traveling around a lot and meeting people and having adventures, and it was so exciting and awesome. And I was, working on personal development and just felt like I was getting happier and, just all this stuff. And then now it was like thrown into a regression, of like, okay, I'm stuck at home again and not able to do the things that I had learned to be healthy in, I guess, like the situations, that I was used to being my new developed self, I guess. And so, it's a process in conclusion. Yeah,
I can definitely relate to the regression, but I think for me, it wasn't necessarily that I had learned all of these things and was now like unable to do it. Is that what I actually found? I didn't learn them. I was able to distract myself from the depression and from the everything else and kind of force because I had a ridiculous schedule and a consistent one. I was able to not really stay at home, not really be lazy, have to be up at a certain hour, always be so tired that I went to bed on time at night, that had just enough of just enough positive influences around me that kind of literally peer pressured me into living a more healthy lifestyle by I wasn't always the one cooking. Everyone else in the house was like vegan, so I ate healthy food. A lot of other people in the group, because was like kind of starting off with Tulsi. A lot of people were into yoga and meditation and a lot of that other stuff. So I kind of got like, I don't want to say peer pressured, but for me, it's a lot easier to work on personal development with other people.
Sure.
Because I feel like it feels like a waste of time or just like selfish time. If I'm like setting aside time to just like do yoga or something like that, and I'm just like sitting there for an hour, that feels so selfish by myself. Like I just can't find that in the schedule.
You're such an extrovert.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot better on that one, but it's just most of the things I'm much more consistent if I'm getting peer pressured into things. That's just it. It's a lot easier if there's people around you to do it. So yeah, I definitely can relate to the regression though, because being home, especially the last like 4 months, most of the time has been very like wake up around noon, maybe put pants on at all. Like just and I didn't have a car, so for me to be able to go anywhere, I had to be in that like perfect window of time between like my mom getting home and doing shows and stuff like that. So it was just I was home all the time, and it's very easy to slip back into not anything when your life is just Play-Doh.
Yeah, it's tough. I think it's been tough for a lot of people with quarantine. It's been interesting just how some people have taken the time to like become super fit, and others are, just struggling to get by. And I don't think there's a right or wrong. At the beginning, I felt more pressure to keep up with everyone. I think a lot of people maybe felt that way. But yeah.
I actually did a better job at keeping up with everyone during quarantine than I did the 4 months I was with Tulsi before that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was great. My Bible study was online, so I could go to that all the time or every week. Church was live streamed on YouTube, and so I would always watch that. And like everyone's Zoom the crap. Like it was perfect for me being out in the middle of nowhere, being literally hundreds of miles from my closest friends. Really, I was like, this is great. This is perfect. Like I'm in the same situation as everybody else. All of my friends are in New York City. Like some of them are blocks away from each other or less, but we're all on the same Zoom call because they have to be. So like it worked out really well for me actually in the beginning because I was feeling very cut off because I just like left the city almost and spent 4 months just running around, not really being connected to anyone, not really having anything grounding me at all. And so it was great to connect with them. Unfortunately, they've kind of all now that they're not on Zoom anymore, it's not as easy.
Yeah. But it can be kind of overwhelming, or I felt like there's just so many things going on online, and I don't know, it's more draining online. Isn't there such a thing as like Zoom exhaustion? I think I heard of that last year.
Can relate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's also such thing as podcast exhaustion.
Probably kind of the same thing.
Yeah, right. Well, the difference is like you have to stay put. It's the weirdest situation. Like I have to just like stay sitting here and like looking in this direction.
Oh,
the
like
whole
versus
time.
right. Like if it's not a Zoom on your phone or something, you can move around and just be more natural.
Yeah, I mean, phone calls are definitely better, and then in person is even easier. It's just you're not like if you were here in this room, like and we're just hanging out, I could walk all the way from one end to the other, still kind of converse with you. You could follow me or not. It doesn't really matter. Humans can kind of like when you're in person, you can go from like actually interacting to not to interacting again.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's a big thing. Yeah. If you're like in a call online, you have to be on. There's that expectation. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless you watch my 420 live stream, I was not on that whole time, and nobody else in the call was either. There are full like minutes of silence in that.
What? That's funny.
We were all. I mean, it was 420, right? So we were all quite baked already, and I was exhausted. Just from a video. So yeah, there's just like fairly long, just awkward pauses of just way too much time.
Well, that kind of takes the pressure off.
There's a reason it's not on my YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
That was just for Twitter.
Okay.
But yeah, it was nice. I found it actually a little bit more fun than plenty of other podcasts that I've done, because it was definitely just chilling with Olivia and Harrison, and it was just like
nice.
Also introduced kind of, they had never met each other, so just like having that be their first interaction was just like a 2-hour baked out of our mind conversation about random BS.
Nice. Sounds fun.
Yeah, but I definitely agree that the being able to turn on and off with people is a huge thing. I think we were talking about this the other day. I got so lonely at home because I was lonely, but I did not want to be on a Zoom call. I did not want to be on a podcast. I wanted to be with people, but still turned off.
Yeah.
I just wanted communion. I just wanted to like sit on the couch and watch a movie with somebody.
Yeah.
And and didn't want that to be my parents because they're really annoying. It's a good thing they don't actually watch my show.
Right.
So you're launching second look here next month. Current.
Cut off. Say that again.
Oh, I'm cutting out again. Yeah. So you are launching second look here next month, right?
I think in a week. I mean, soft opening. Soft opening.
Soft open, right?
Yeah. So we'll just have like one article out, and we'll start producing 2 to 6 articles a month. We just feel like we need to start getting content out, and getting feedback, and just make it as we go, kind of thing. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited. Yeah.
Definitely.
The first article will be on the healthcare system. And I think it's a good example of the kind of articles we want to do, because it tries to reframe the conversation as like, rather than arguing over who's going to pay for healthcare, why don't we first look at why it's so expensive in the first place? And then we can have more productive conversations about, who's going to pay for it, like the best way to make sure that everyone is, taken care of. Yeah. So I'm excited.
That's awesome. I'm super excited to read that. Healthcare was one of the first issues that I would say I quote unquote took the actual red pill on. The way that people use that terminology. For the first couple of years, I was I guess I would call myself a blue-pilled libertarian. I believed in, didn't know how active the fight against liberty was, and how strong that fight was, and how badly we were losing. I just didn't really get that. I believed in gun rights and freedom of speech, and I thought we should legalize drugs and sex work, and so I had most of the platform planks checked off. I just didn't really understand it. Healthcare was one of the first issues. Dan Fishman, thank God for him, went on like an hour and a half monologue at a bar with me once, and told me like the whole start to finish, like the timeline of when healthcare was cheap to what it was expensive, and he did the same thing with college actually the same night. So those two issues, I was like, okay, so that's why we're doing this. That makes more sense. Like everything makes more sense now.
I actually think they might be related. We pay our doctors and nurses and stuff more than any other country. But it also costs more for them to become doctors and nurses. Like they're super in debt from our education system. Yeah.
Yes. If the degrees did not cost like $500,000, maybe they wouldn't need to make $500,000 tending to sick people.
Yep.
Would make sense. So why healthcare?
Oh. Well, that's a better question than you realize. Because I'm trying to figure out how much I want to get into this. So originally we had this great idea, by we I mean I, to do an article about election fraud and integrity as like our first big thing, because I felt like that was one of the biggest issues dividing our country. And it tied in with the Capitol riots, and like so many things went back to that disagreement. And so I wanted to explain like why some people think that, like what are they seeing, that is convincing them that it was stolen? What are the other side seeing that's convincing them it wasn't stolen? And I wanted to like bridge that gap, but then that article just got really complicated, and I realized it was going to be more controversial than I thought. And also I started to realize how bad censorship is. Like I hadn't realized how bad it was before, and I thought I could just put out whatever I wanted, and as long as people liked it, it would be fine, you know. So I was kind of naive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I reevaluated our list of articles that we were going to put out and tried to come up with things that were still really important, but that wouldn't get me canceled like right away. I mean, I feel like you need to build up a following first. You know, you don't want to be shut down before before you can, you know, have people following.
So rather than rather than be controversial about the election, you decided that the safer bet would be to try to attack big pharma, the insurance industry, and a little bit of the education industry all at the same time with one article. I love it. I do.
I mean,
I'm super excited.
so that's why I think it's a good balance, because it is still like edgy, I hope, you know, like I think it's still talking about really important things. But I haven't heard of censorship happening. Maybe I'm missing it, but I mean, I've come, like in my research, I'm coming across a ton of academic articles and blog posts and news articles, and you know, it seems like stuff is, you know, being published and getting out there about the healthcare system. So
Mhm.
I don't think there's like direct targeted censorship of that. So yeah, so that's how I
It's not
ended
as
up.
blatant on those issues.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, next we're taking on oil and coal. So
So is the goal for Second Look to just piss off every lobbying group possible? Because if it is, I would love it. Like that's a pretty dope goal. Because really, if you want to put out objectionable or like objective facts about the United States, you're gonna have to piss off lobbyists because all they do is lie to people.
yeah, I mean, in trying to come up with articles, I had a lot of trouble coming up with anything that was really important, you know, but that wouldn't piss someone off. So yeah. Yeah. We'll try to avoid like intense censorship
I think that's
for a little
just
bit. Yeah. Sorry, the timing
That's
sometimes.
good. It's good.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of lag, but I feel like we're making it work. I apologize to the people watching. Actually, I found that a lot of times what they're watching isn't nearly as bad as how we're experiencing it, because it's a browser-based system that it kind of makes up for both of our terrible Wi-Fi just a little bit.
Oh, I have good Wi-Fi.
And makes
it
a little for us. Okay. Yeah, it might be me. I'm in Brooklyn. I don't even know what kind of Wi-Fi I'm on. So who knows?
Happens
But yeah,
while
I
traveling.
think that's really just indicative. True that.
Sorry.
It's just really indicative of just how truth works. Like you can't be honest and direct without pissing people off. I really just don't think it's possible. So I think the more lobbying groups you make mad, the more and necessary your news publication is.
Yeah. One of my writers actually used to be a journalist, and she published an article that it sounds like was very fair, and she even, you know, presented like the pharmaceutical company's perspective and stuff. But she got in big trouble. Like they were calling her editor, and you know, just they were really mad that she had published it because it was like a little bit negative, like, you know. So, I mean, yeah, if we have the viewership, you know, like if we're actually getting seen, I think it could get intense. But for now, we're tiny, so hopefully we have a little time. We'll see.
Yeah, it's crazy how many different things you have to like be careful of, I guess, when it comes to this stuff, and kind of watch out for. I think I might have already told you this story fully, but once had his site shut down or basically sued out of existence for publishing an article about Conor McGregor, and they were like they would have won in court very easily. However, it would have cost significantly more than they had, because they were. I think he was 17 at the time, or 8. He might have just turned 18, something around there. I think they started it when he was 17. So, kids don't have lawyer money.
Yeah, that's definitely a concern I have, honestly. Yeah. Some people have told me stories also. Apparently there was a paper called The Knife before, that was doing something, it sounds like very similar to what I'm trying to do with Second Look in some ways. And their site just disappeared one day. They just stopped posting on social media, didn't say what happened. And they put on their site, like, we're not going to publish stuff anymore. And that was all they said. They just disappeared. So that's interesting. I don't know what happened there. They might have been bought out.
That doesn't give me warm, fuzzy feelings.
Right. I also heard of a guy who was reporting on, I hope I get this right. He was reporting on like actual racism, I think, in the South, in the judicial system. Like that there was actually like shady stuff going on. And I think he was a libertarian. I could be wrong. I could be mixing stories. But he got bought out or something, or hired by, I want to say, the Washington Post. I could be just making this up at this point. But there was a guy who got hired by a big newspaper, and apparently he just changed drastically overnight. And just, anyway, all that to say, I have a lot on my mind in terms of like things that could go wrong that I'm trying to prevent.
I mean, would being paid a large sum of money to go write for somebody else be going wrong?
Well, the stuff he was writing was not authentic anymore, I think.
I'm being mostly sarcastic.
Oh, hilarious.
But I mean, but it is kind of a real question though. Like, if would you take hush money? Like, is there a something? How do you feel so strongly about this that you would actually like put your possibly like if on the face, maybe living your dreams with like millions of dollars to keep doing this?
Yeah, I mean, I would say yeah, because I've never been like super motivated by money. I love making cool stuff. And then I hope the money follows. No, but that's kind of honestly the way I operate. Yeah. And I feel like there are some people also who are kind of like, not stuck up, but like really, like I would never let people cheat from my homework in school and stuff, so I feel like I'm that kind of person who I'm just like, but how does that help you? You need to do the work yourself. So like sometimes it annoys people.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So we would not have been friends in school. Good to know.
Well, yeah, I was like, yeah, I was known for being like the good student, and yeah, I had so many people ask to copy, and I was just like, no. Yeah. Principles.
Well, that makes
Libertarian. Maybe.
Yeah. See, there you go. The party of principles. It's not that terrible. So I actually did want to ask you, what is your least favorite part about being a part of the liberty movement? And I don't mean the Libertarian Party or like libertarianism, but just like the movement as a whole, like doing this with your life and this. What's the worst part?
It cut out. I don't know what.
Okay.
Yeah. One more time.
Okay. What is your least favorite part about being a part of the liberty movement?
What?
Well, okay, let me clarify better, because you, like I said earlier, last time I had you on, you were pretty new, and now you've had like almost that was like 3 months ago almost. And you're doing this, and you're very active in the liberty movement. Of the things that you've been experiencing, like whether it's the people or the stress or the anxiety of the world crashing down, like what have you added to your life thanks to the liberty movement that you dislike the most?
Yeah, maybe the stress. I mean, ignorance is definitely bliss. Yeah, I guess that would have to be it. Because I love all the people I've met so far. I know some people have trouble with trolls or like, disagreements and stuff. I feel like I haven't had any of those yet. So yeah, that hasn't been a problem. Everyone's been awesome. Yeah, I would say just the stress of questioning everything. Because I remember the other day someone said in a group chat, like a libertarian group chat, they were saying something about flat earthers, and I was like, you guys, we don't believe this, do we? Like, I'm at that point of like reevaluating everything.
That was me. That was messaging that. No, the Earth is actually flat. You've been lied to. The moon landing didn't happen, and we've never been to space. Also control the world.
Good to know.
Those are all facts.
Thank you for educating me.
No problem. This is the kind of accurate education you can get from YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. That is actually what you find on YouTube. Don't get all your information from YouTube, people. Can I just make that monologue real quick? Just don't do that. It's great. I'm on YouTube. I'm also on a bunch of other places, but I'm also not a great source of information either. Like, go find out real hard facts from like people that do these things for YouTube. Thank you.
You cut out right when
just
you
had to get that out
saying...
there because too many of my followers watch YouTube religiously.
Oh, you cut out right when you were saying go get hard facts from, and then I couldn't hear where to go get hard facts. So I'll never know.
Said go get hard facts from professionals that do this for a living, because yeah, that's a better place to get facts from. I mean, yeah, it's hard to know where to get good hard facts these days. Yeah. It's a challenge.
What?
And I feel like it's one of the reasons. Sorry, I said it's a challenge, and I feel like it is actually one of the reasons why I transitioned from like a quote unquote news show into what I do now, is because if I'm not even sure where to get the facts, how can I pretend that I'm a place to get the facts? Like, I do not have the ability to just dig and actually put out a half an idea of all super great, well-researched anything. Like, it's not what I do. Yeah. I can get good answers out of people and ask fun questions. That's what I do.
Nice. Yeah. I've thought also, I mean, just based on this conversation, I feel like some people might be like, she's going to be giving us news. Like, so I just want to clarify that I have people on the team, not just me. I'm not writing most of the articles. And we're experimenting with a process of peer review. So we want to make sure that, like multiple people look over the articles, especially going to try to get people who are experts in the field. So yeah, I'm talking to some people in the medical field to see if they can look over the healthcare article, and talking to people in the, oh, I haven't mentioned that article yet. Never mind. But yeah, getting experts to look over the articles and stuff like that. So we're trying to figure out, ways to really do our best to get the, facts, because like you were saying, like it's such a challenge to find good information these days. That actually ties in with something I wanted to bring up. Two things actually.
Go for it.
So, so the first was I heard this story, historical story, the other day, on my friend Matthew's Rounding the Earth blog, and he was talking about information and just where we get information from, and he was talking about a guy named Zhao Gao in China, and apparently there's a saying from this story. I'll get to that in a minute. So, okay, here's the story. So apparently there was this eunuch named Zhao Gao in China way back when, and he was really power hungry, and he was trying to get rid of some people and just like shift the power, the power dynamic, like in the Chinese Empire. And so he had a test that he would use. So he would come riding out in on a deer, and he would say, and the king would be like, "Oh, you're on a deer. What are you doing?" And he'd be like, "No, this is a horse. I'm riding a horse. What are you talking about?" And then the nobles would either say, "Isn't that a deer?" Or they would say, "Oh yeah, it's a horse. Can't you tell?" And so he would make note of the ones who would say it's a deer, and he would kill them. He would make sure they were wiped out. So that's how he tested who was loyal to him and who wasn't. And so there's a saying, call a deer a horse. No, call a horse. Yeah, call a deer a horse in Chinese, apparently.
Interesting.
The reason I bring it up... Oh, go ahead.
No,
Thoughts?
no, you.
Well, do you have any guesses as to why that might be relevant? This has become Quiz David time.
Guesses. I like this. Well, I have a guess, because that's basically how most of our politicians and most people work, really, in general. I feel like if you're not telling somebody what they want to hear, then they stop listening instead of changing their minds.
Well, so in the story, he was testing them to see if they would deny reality for him, to test their loyalty. And I feel like that's kind of what we see happening a lot nowadays, in the media and from politicians too, where each team, the Democrats and the Republicans, they have their version of reality that you need to adhere to, and you need to. So that's why Democrats, will wear masks even if they're vaccinated, and even if they're outside, and even if they're far away from everyone, because it's a symbol of
right.
Sorry, Democrats, but yeah. So I think there's a lot of stuff. I mean, obviously Republicans have their version of this too, but I just think there's a lot of stuff going on now that is call the deer a horse. Testing your loyalty to the team rather than just reality. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like stepping up their game too. It's like it started from like, calling a pony a horse to like now it's like a dragon or some dumb shit like that where you're just like, no, like it's not anything close to a horse, but they're still like, nope, you gotta believe it. You still gotta believe it. Like
yeah, you're not wrong there. That's so funny.
It's just
like a pig. It's like a pig. You're like, call it a horse.
This last year through both sides have escalated this shit immensely of just having, like you said, they both have their own version of reality, and it's just getting immensely farther from what actual reality is, to the point where I don't even know if I know what reality is.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I feel that so much. Yeah. So there's another thing I want to bring up. I've just been thinking about these things lately. So you might have heard of Lysenkoism? You heard of that?
It sounds vaguely familiar, but no, I don't think so.
So, okay, it was from the Soviet Union, and there was a guy named Lysenko, and he developed his own version of biology, and said that everyone who was doing normal biology was crazy and magical, mystical, not scientific. And the propaganda and stuff convinced people that his version of science was the truth, and they had a lot of famines and stuff because they were using his versions of agriculture and stuff. It had effects on the real world because they locked up all the scientists who were trying to do the real thing. And so that's another crazy thing, is just that propaganda can convince people that something is science that is not actually science, and apparently other countries in the Eastern Bloc and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, just fun facts from history.
So I did know that word, and we've talked about it. I just don't know that I've ever heard it out loud.
Oh,
and I did not
say it right.
I don't know. I just I don't think I've heard it to recognize it. Reading it, I was like, yeah. That's kind of funny. It's interesting how that works out, where there are plenty of things that you've just never actually heard said.
True.
Yeah, but yeah, lying about science is something that's a lot more common than people understand. Whether we're talking about how the government used to tell you which brand of cigarettes were healthier for pregnant women, or the sugar conspiracy.
Exactly. That's my favorite one.
It's just so much shit. It's mine too. Well, I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's definitely. I was actually talking to my friend Paul Grindle, who's the campaign manager for Stacey Pressman. I was talking to him about this today. About that was a big mind fuck for me of
yeah.
Whoa, we've been lied to since we were 3 about most things.
Yeah, most things, right? Yeah.
That's the crazy part. Is it's just just keep having to unlearn middle school.
Right? That needs to be the cover photo for this, where we're both like
I agree. I don't know if I'll ever have a thumbnail as good as Blues Brothers Rita and Tom Woods, though. That's the best YouTube thumbnail that'll ever exist. I just
have
don't
you
think I
confidence
can
in me? Oh.
I mean, you are a lot more attractive than Tom Woods, so there is that.
Thanks. I don't know Tom Woods. Sorry, Tom Woods.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, the lies, they really just stack up.
Yeah.
And
you know what's crazy though is that like there are certain lies that people accept, you know, like the sugar one. I feel like that's a pretty easy one for people to accept, because I don't know. It just seems like an easier one. But there are a lot of ones that are like way harder. People are like, whoa, no, that's, you know, conspiracy. So yeah, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like 9/11 was an inside job.
Yeah. I need to research that more, but yeah. You guys have told me. Not sure what to think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's one that I've kind of believed since the beginning. Like the second that those conspiracy theories started, my dad showed me some of those videos. So like I've been a little bit of I've been saying it like as a joke and ironically forever. Like I've been saying 9/11 was an inside job since like 2003.
Wow.
But
it had never occurred to me until you guys brought it up.
Wow.
Never occurred to me.
You figure out your work-life balance perfectly and you're going out and doing fun things. What's the first destination on the list outside of the US?
Oh, outside of the US. I mean, I'm looking at Mexico or Bali, ideally. Yeah, we'll see.
Have you been to...
Sorry, go ahead.
Have you been to either of those places yet?
Yeah, I've been to both.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Spent like 3 weeks in Mexico and a month in Bali. So a little time there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you were stuck.
Wow.
we're like trying to coordinate the lag.
It's really difficult. Again, sorry guys, but oh well. This isn't the first, and it won't be the last episode that's full of technical difficulties like this. So buckle up,
shit.
people.
Wait, I lost you? Okay. I swiped and it like it made everything disappear from the screen. I was just trying to go see if we had any comments.
Oh my gosh, did you see that? Do you know who Unholy Rome is on Twitter?
It sounds familiar.
Okay, because there's a fucking glorious clip that went decently viral the other day of him on a podcast, like mid-podcast, discovering that his laptop is touchscreen.
Oh, I did see that. Saw that. That was fun. Could relate so much.
That's like the most wholesome thing ever. He's like, yo, dude. He's cool. I would love to actually meet him. Now that I'm actually in Brooklyn, I should reach out because I would love to buy him a beer because that just sounds like a great time.
Nice.
So with the second look and sorry, wordsing not working. With everything that you're doing kind of starting to get going and like taking off in a lot of different ways, are you feeling more excited or more anxious? Or is it just like both simultaneously all the time?
It's a roller coaster. I feel like there are moments where it feels like everything's coming together. And then there are moments where it's like, okay, everything is now falling apart. And so it's been a lot of up and downs. Yeah.
Okay, my computer's listening to me because we've been talking about travel for the last hour, and I just got an email ad from Expedia. just came through on my
Why did you
computer.
get an email right now?
I'm not I downloaded this program thanks to a friend's recommendation called Swift that like helps you manage a bunch of things, but it also does push notifications to your desktop for
That sounds
all of your
terrible.
emails. So I with an email every time I get an email, and it's awful.
Yeah.
I know that I can fix it somehow. I just haven't like gone in and dug through the settings to this program yet.
Wow.
I like set it up and then I haven't really used it because I don't have time, and I haven't been on my computer in 3 days.
I see.
So
Yeah.
it's a fun time. So not checking my email in the middle of a podcast, but
Okay.
but my computer just
But
wanted to let me
Expedia is
know.
listening. Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
It said the world is waiting for me.
Great.
Which it's not, because we can't leave the country.
Because what?
Well, because we can't leave the country.
Oh,
except for like Mexico and like Saudi Arabia and a couple other places.
Oh. Are you sure? Are you sure we like can't?
I mean, there's no flights. There's
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I haven't looked recently.
Actually, where the people that I'm staying with, my friend Eric, he came here, lived in Vietnam for almost 20 years, came here to visit, and for like a month back in March of last year, and is stuck here. His wife is stuck in Vietnam, and one of his employees from Vietnam is stuck here with Eric. And they're just like all kind of shrug. He's here with his son, and his wife is just been over there for 14 months now. It's sucky. I don't like how the world turned out. The last it doesn't fill me with hope or joy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
But hopefully with the vaccines going out and people, possibly becoming monkeys or getting microchipped or whatever it is that they're doing, maybe we can go back to normal. I don't know. I really don't like saying those words even, because I don't think we go back to what we had before this. I don't think we ever get the freedoms back that we gave up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm concerned too. But anyway, shall I talk about the Second Look memberships?
Yes, you should. Give us some hope, Stacia. Tell us how to find some rays of sunshine in our life.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we're doing memberships as our way to finance Second Look. So consider becoming a member. I think they're pretty cool. I don't know. So the first tier is the discourse membership, and is this okay? I'm just like doing a pitch. Okay.
Yes,
so
please.
So you get access to a private community under each article to discuss the article, and I'm excited because I think you'll have higher quality discussions when people have to pay something to access them. I mean, I've heard, of like Bitcoin social media where you have to pay for every post you make. And apparently people it's very high quality. People are, they have to pay for it. So anyway, so yeah, that's $5 a month. And then the Curiosity membership is $10 a month, and you get a portal for submitting story requests. So if there's something that you heard about that you're like, hey, can you look into this? You can send that to us, and you can send as many as you want every month, and we'll do as many as we can. And then the third one is the Clarity membership, and I'm super excited about this one because we do a 1-hour monthly Ask Me Anything with our team of researchers and writers. And so, yeah, I'm super excited.
That
Also
sounds-
because I'm hoping it can also be like a way to build trust. I think, that's something that's kind of missing with our media. And, so like if you actually get a chance to talk to the reporters and be like, hey, how did you come up with this? Or, like just ask those questions directly. I mean, it's 15 a month, and yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. So yeah, those are our membership tiers.
That's awesome. Because I think a big problem that we have right now with our media is that most things, there are authors that we know of somewhat and follow, but for the most part, it's the outlet that It's like CNN said this or WAPO said that, and there's no face to that. We don't know who. Even if you're trying to blame the president or the CEO or whatever, you still don't. No one even there's no face to that. So I really like that, being able to actually connect with your audience and put a face to the news. That sounds great.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Like I said, we're trying to do.
What made you think of doing that? Was that?
Sorry, it was delayed. Yeah. So
continue.
Oh, just we're trying to do things differently, and not just copy what's already being done. So yeah, that's just one way. So I thought of it because originally I was going to charge for subscriptions, like to get email notifications for new articles. And then I realized pretty quickly that was a bad idea. It would just limit the reach. And really reach is going to be the big challenge. So I was like, okay, that's off the table. And so I was just brainstorming a bunch of ideas, and somehow that was one of them. Originally I was thinking, it was just brainstorming. Yeah.
Lots of bits and pieces. I've not had much luck with the brainstorming sessions lately. The solution finding things have not gone well lately.
Oh.
I feel like there's like a headspace that you have to be in to brainstorm, and a headspace that I have to be in to like do work. And I have been in the wrong headspace like consistently for the last couple of weeks. It's like whenever I need to like go out and petition or something like that, it's like I want to stand around and just, like brainstorm things, and like I'm thinking of like brilliant ideas for the campaign that I have no enact because I'm not at my computer and don't have anywhere near me to help do things. And then vice versa, when I have a problem that I need to solve, or even just writing like descriptions to YouTube videos and like the scheduling out posts and stuff for the promos. Even that's been really weird the last couple of weeks of just like not having a clue what to say about people, of just like come listen to Bob talk is kind of what I want to just put in the description sometimes, because I'm like, I don't even, especially because I'm trying to get the conversation. So how am I supposed to know exactly what we talked about? That never works. Like planning these conversations doesn't normally work at all.
Yeah, seems like a challenge.
Well, Stacia, before we wrap up, I want to give you, I know you've pitched fairly well, but I want to give you a chance to pitch yourself a little bit more and tell people where to find you and how they can help out, possibly with Second Look or with anything else that you're doing.
Oh, cool. We're looking for writers. Right now it's all volunteer. But writers, researchers, peer reviewers. So if you're interested in doing any of that, you can contact me on Twitter. My @ is down there, Original Stacia. You can contact us at contact@secondlook.news. So we'd love to hear from you. Check out the site. I think our soft opening is next weekend, or this upcoming weekend. So go subscribe now at secondlook.news, and we'll email you once the site is live, so you can check out that healthcare article. And yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes, there.
Boom, right there.
Yeah.
Go do that.
And if you follow me on Twitter, tweets are mine, not representative of Second Look. I don't know. I feel like I need to say that. Like I have my opinions, but I try not to bring them. I mean, everything in Second Look is peer reviewed and checked for way more than my Twitter posts. So just want to put that out there.
Mm-hmm. I find it really funny how many of my friends have that phrase in their bio, opinions are my own, or retweet does not equal endorsement. I
know. I'm always like, why would anyone think it does, though?
Right?
Yeah. Although now that I have Second Look in my bio, I have felt that pressure a bit. Like when I tweet things, I'm like, oh gosh, people might think that this is Second Look talking, and it's not. It's my opinions on my Twitter, but I feel like the assumption should be it's your private opinions. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that should be just the general assumption. I am also worried about why it's not.
Yeah.
But I've actually been attacked multiple times for people that I've retweeted. So.
Oh yeah, you got attacked for retweeting me.
Oh, that's also
sorry.
a thing that I did. Yep. That was funny. What I loved about that one was that they tried to play it off like they were just attacking the original poster, not me. And I'm like, that doesn't help. I'll defend her harder than I'll defend myself. So, but yeah, I mean, I've just done regular retweets of people. I mean, before Dave Smith and I were cool, I retweeted him a couple of times and got shat on for it. So that actually is part of what drove me closer. Obviously the Liberty Unity thing as a whole and him reaching out very much is what was the catalyst to it, but the getting attacked for guilty by association with him before I even associated with him was a real push towards okay, maybe he's just being guilty by association and nothing else really factual here. And that's kind of what I got to find out. But it is crazy. I've retweeted Dick Fuentes a couple of times because he posted some super based things. I was like, if you're gonna say something fun about gun rights, I'm gonna retweet you. I really don't care who you are, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. It's interesting how that's another way that information is being hidden, or good information is being swept under the rug, it seems like, because so many almost everyone, if you look them up, there's an article saying, oh, they're something, there's all these smear pieces that have come out, even Andrew Yang and Jordan Peterson, and there's a long list of smear pieces. Yeah. And then people are like, oh, they're bad. Better not listen to anything they say. I love that when people are like, do you know this person is some label, right? And you're like, I mean, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
Right. Yeah, and especially those people that say those same things are the amount of other terrible people that we still listen to as if they were gods.
Yeah, so true.
It's because the same question the scientific basis of someone because they were a quote unquote racist, but then still be totally cool with Aristotle or somebody that was so much worse. Every possible
Oh, shit.
Well, I mean, he lived in a very when he was alive, most people were racist. almost everyone
Oh.
was racist when Aristotle was alive. So there's a
Yeah.
lot more, like, you know, we've learned and evolved as a species since then. But he's still said a lot of cool things, and he also stupid things, and we've proved him wrong 1,000 times over, and we proved him right a couple of times, and, you know, we evolve. I don't like how there's like this binary option of like conservative versus progressive, right? Of we have to stay put and not change and not get better ever, or everything that's different than it is right now is better than what we have and must do that. And I will never understand those ideas, because I don't actually really get to choose very much. Like, I think time is moving at whatever pace it wants to move, and you can sit there and scream and cry and rant about how good the good old days were, or you can scream and cry and rant about how slowly we're moving. But I really don't think either of those people are making a difference.
Fair. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I would rule them out completely. I don't know. Like, it seems like people, like, even if part of them is not effective, maybe they have another part that is, or something. Sorry, this is a very.
Oh yeah, I just mean
Okay.
they're not making it. I don't mean that they're not making a difference. I mean, they're not making a difference on like the actual speed at which we evolve. Like, we're
Oh,
not,
I see.
like, progressives aren't making us progress faster, and conservatives are not conserving the past. I think time is just gonna keep doing its thing regardless. Was more my point. Not that
I see.
conservatives or progressives aren't useful. Like,
I see. Yeah.
there's lots of great things that both, in my opinion, but I don't think either side's gonna accomplish their mission of like either speeding it up or slowing it down.
I see. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Stacia, I want to thank you so much for coming back on the show. This was great, other than the wonderful technical difficulties and the brokenness. Hopefully there will be, once these podcasts all start becoming in person, hopefully you'll be one of them for that as well. So.
Cool. Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
But, guys, my absolute pleasure, as always. I will see you possibly on a Monday night soon. And we will all see you guys back here tomorrow night with Emmanuel Torres from The Fix for New York. That actually is going to be an in-person episode, the first in-person interview for Fight for Liberty. So don't miss that. 9:00 tomorrow night. Guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you back here next time. And until then, keep up the fight.